Hello, Philip DeFranco. This is a response to your question of the day. The question of the day was, what are our childhood memories? Okay, since I'm not a very funny person, or let's put it this way, things can be funny and you can say them in a serious way, and I'm one of those people because when I say things, people don't find them funny, they just don't laugh. So, childhood memories. Now, when I was born, my parents did this like newlywed thing, like they weren't poor, but my mom likes to call it a hot dog and rice phase, and this lasted till I was 6. Yeah, that basically means we ate a lot of hot dogs and rice. So, when I was little, really little, I cost my parents a lot of money because I somehow did not realize we were going through this hot dog and rice phase. Somebody didn't tell me. So, like, when I was little, I always needed 3 pacifiers, 1 in each hand, and 1 in my mouth. And of course, my parents would take us on a walk on the beach, and I would like to take my pacifier and hold it out over the pier into the ocean. My mom would be like, "Christine," and I'd be like, "Christine, Christine, no." And I go in the ocean. Of course, then I start this thing and start crying my head off because I need to have, at all times, 1 pacifier in each hand and 1 in my mouth. So my parents always had to buy a lot of pacifiers. My dad says it's called the Pacific Ocean because all the fish have pacifiers in it, but he kind of says like pacifier ocean, so it sounds like pacifiers because he has a crazy German accent. So when I say Pacific Ocean and fish have pacifiers, it doesn't really work, does it? Anyway, so moving on. Then when I was a little older and I was finally in kindergarten, I told everybody in my kindergarten that we have a carousel, which actually was a table in our living room that spinned, and my parents put me on it, and I called it a carousel. And my teacher was like to my mom, "You guys really have a carousel?" And my mom had a hard time figuring out what that was. That was just like the table in the living room. And yeah, still the hot dogs and rice period. Once my mom bought Play-Doh for my cousins, and I always got Barbies, and I really never liked Barbies that much, and so I got home and I was like, "Ooh, Play-Doh, lots of Play-Doh." And of course my mom made the bad choice and went to work and left me alone at home with sleeping Dad, because my dad slept in the afternoons. So, Dad's asleep, and I'm standing in front of this pile of Play-Doh. What do? I did not hear my mom say, "Christine, don't touch the Play-Doh, it's for your cousins." I kind of miss that. I went for the Play-Doh, opened every single one, played with it. My mom came home and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, uh-oh. So my parents locked me outside the apartment. It's like, bam, door shut. And I'm sitting there crying inside the hallway from an apartment building that was cold, and she kind of like opens the door and is like, "Say you're sorry." I'm like, "No." Bam, door shut. And then they opened it again and they were like, "Are you sorry now?" And I was just there. No. I would not give in to that. I was sorry because I was not sorry. I love playing with Play-Doh. A later story, all the Barbies that I got, they finally did have a use because when I was older, I got a little electrical train, and if you got the tracks hot enough, you get like good like train marks on the Barbie, so I got all the rubber burnt and stuff. It was great. Still hot dogs and rice time. It was like right before we moved. I was like 6 or 7, and I had like this best friend. Her name was Annabelle, and she lived in an apartment complex next to ours. So this is like, I look out the living room window and be like, "Hey Annabelle," and she's like, "Hey Christine," I'd be like, "Hey Annabelle." So my dad again, me home, him asleep. So Annabelle calls and she's like, "Christine, do you want to come over?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to come over. Let me ask my dad." And Dad's like, I'm like, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. Daddy, can I go to Annabelle's?" Yeah. Apparently he did not remember that he said yes. Because when he woke up 2 hours later, he was freaking out. He called the police, and the police told him for a missing persons warrant, he needs they need to be missing 24 hours. And he's like, she's 6 years old. She's missing and 6 years old. Why don't you do something? So yeah, the police weren't really bright there. Anyways, he found me at Annabelle's. And the first thing he did was took me in his arms, bent me over, and gave me a bare-ass spanking right on her bed. And I remember thinking, like, oh my goodness, now I can't be Annabelle's friend anymore because he just saw my butt. Yeah, I was really embarrassed about that. Now, better times, my sister and I, when we moved to the new house, I actually told her that my room, the one that I lived in, like, the whole time, was haunted. She was, like, 4, and she believed me, and so I got the bigger room. Another thing, oh yeah, when we were little, somehow we had a babysitter called Nina, and we both had, like, swim practice, and my sister got out of swim practice 15 minutes before I did, and something just knocked. Anyways, got out of swim practice 15 minutes before I did. And so I get out of swim practice, and I see, because Nina had bright red hair, I see, like, this red-haired woman just, like, smacking on the car, like, let me in! Apparently, when Nina closed the car, she got her fingers caught in the door, and my sister, and because it was, like, child-locked, you couldn't open it, and the keys were inside. So my sister's having this laugh attack in the car, and Nina's fingers are stuck in the door. And I'm just coming on, and I just see, like, this crazy red-haired woman just smacking the car, and my sister laughing her head off. And then I finally let go, and yeah, she had her hand, these 3 fingers, stuck in the door for, like, 15 minutes. And my sister, like, cracked her head up. And another funny thing, my sister and I, we were bored and we caught a scorpion in our bathtub. I don't know why we had a scorpion in our bathtub, but we had a scorpion in our bathtub and we caught it. And we heard once that if you freeze a scorpion, it will come back to life in the sun when you put it in the sun. So we put it in the freezer and totally forgot that we put a scorpion in the freezer. And like 6 months later, my mom was cleaning out the freezer going for ice cream, and all of a sudden you hear like glass breaking and there was the frozen scorpion. It did not come back to life. Other than that, I ran into a parked car with my bicycle twice. I'm extremely clumsy. Yeah. Oh, embarrassing moment. Swim team freshman year in high school. Oh my goodness. I was like on the USS swim team when I was really little, so I started our high school swim team, and there was this really cute guy, and I was like a big nerd in high school, and really chubby, more chubby than I am now. And so he was cute, but he was a big asshole. I won't mention his name. So, like, the 3rd week, we're swimming, and I was coming off a turn, and I don't know what happened. My hand kind of slipped, and I, like, totally cupped him, like, down there in that part. And he's like, whoa, Christine! And I was like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I just touched a boy. I was so ashamed. I remember going to church, like, this next 6 weeks straight, and praying for forgiveness. I didn't tell my parents this. My mom's going to watch this now and laugh her head off. I was very ashamed that I touched a boy. It was an accident, hey, but I mean, it was just like totally on. He was just like, whoa, and I was like, oh my God. So, yeah, that was like a major thing for me. Other than that, there's not much, because I didn't do much as a child, because I'm still young. At least I think I am. So I'll go now. Okay, have fun with that. Bye!